Hi, Trish Hoffman here. Now, I'm not here to pick on people, but she ran for office. She won a seat for the West Chester Trustees, and that's Amanda Ortiz. I I didn't know much about her. I was a Mark Welsh guy. I figured that he was going to win. I didn't think it was going to be a close controversy. I think there were some campaign issues that should approach a campaign with all those people in it maybe a little bit differently, more aggressively, live and learn. But Mark was a great trustee, and a lot of great things happened in West Chester because of Mark Welsh. Now you have somebody who ran, they won, and they have some, I think, this is the danger when you take things for granted. Because Amanda Ortiz, again, I didn't know much about her. Now she's sworn in, and I was checking her out to kind of see what she thinks, what she's going to do in West Chester. And she turns out to be one of those, the mad mom types. Now there's a persistence of a kind of person who has children. And I have kids that are having kids now, and I know my wife, when we were at that age, and you're worried about everything, every time you fall down the steps or every time that there's some danger, and mothers tend to overreact to protect the children. It's some biological thing that they have that says protect children. So that's a mom mode, and often they need other people in their life to help balance them out and not be afraid of every time the wind blows. But when that kind of stuff is run amok in modern society, and we're told that women know best on everything, we don't question their intentions, and then they become affiliated with the Democrat Party, and they're out there running for offices, and they're out there trying to bring their mom mode into society mode, and they're trying to have stop signs at every place where there's a crosswalk, and cars might go a little fast, and they're out there freaking out, and gotta slow down, protect my children, and then it gets out of control. I didn't know she was one of those, and she's one of those. And of course, there's a lot of people, and she said some things like on growth that people are concerned about. People move into Butler County, West Chester, Liberty Township. They move to be a part of a dream, but then they bring the garbage that they came from with them. And that's usually highly dense areas that have a lot of bad blue policies, and they become Democrats. So Butler County is a Republican area. And there's a lot of talk about her being, disguising her Democrat roots as a party affiliation. I wasn't surprised that she had endorsements from Democrats, but apparently a lot of Republicans didn't know. It's supposed to be a nonpartisan race, so they didn't know. They didn't pay attention. They didn't know that she was a Democrat until they got serious, and they're checking her out after she won the election, and like, whoa, wait a minute. We feel deceived because she misrepresented herself. The Democrats kept it quiet. And then when they did win this seat in West Chester, they felt they pushed Mark out, a Republican, an entrenched Republican, and put in a mad mom Democrat, that they had won a victory. So they spiked the football, and then everyone was running around like, what happened? Who's this Amanda Ortiz? Let me show you who Amanda Ortiz is. This is a video that she put up, and this is a development near Beckett Ridge in West Chester. And they put these warehouse space in, all these warehouses in, and listen to her comments, because she takes her car. I guess this was before the election, and it didn't have a particular amount of, I don't think it's some kind of video that shaped the election, but it says a lot about who she is. So let me play it for you.
All right, I'm driving around Northwest West Chester. And for people that live kind of on the other side of West Chester, like me, might not realize how many warehouses are built up along 747. I'm close to the 747 and Smith intersection. And this is all still technically West Chester. And just how massive, look at how far back that goes.
She's using her mom voice.
This is the equivalent of several neighborhoods of just warehouses. And unfortunately, I was canvassing in a neighborhood that backs up to some of these warehouses, and they are not happy that all of these were built, and they're not happy that they're so close to their home. Like, you can see a house back there, the roof of a house. This is right behind people's houses. I even have a photo of one of the houses, one of the neighborhoods I was canvassing, and their cul-de-sac, between the two houses at the end of the cul-de-sac, you can see the warehouse like right behind it. So I'll post that in the comments. And I understand growth, development, that is all needed for a community, but boy, oh boy, this is a lot of growth. A lot. All right, you get the idea.
Okay. So this is a lady, you can hear the socialism in her voice. Trained socialism and the mad mom syndrome combined, which is what you get in a lot of Democrats, especially the age she is. You know, there's a lot of Democrat moms who are in their 30s and 40s, and they want to save the world to save their children. You know, they're in that mode, and they're not. You know, you can be sympathetic to them, but when they're in elected office and they're representing your community, now there's no doubt that was some of the appeal of her. Is there's a lot of people who moved to West Chester, and they moved to Butler County in general for the rural circumstances. They want the residential experience, and they don't necessarily want to see a bunch of businesses everywhere. But all those businesses keep your tax revenue down. That's what allows the money to flow in. That's why West Chester operates in the black, because you have a nice balance between residential property and a lot of commercial business. And they produce tax revenue that takes the burden off everybody. So when you're talking about trying to fund schools, which is going to become an increasing issue because the property tax issue is going to, in Ohio, there's going to be revenue streams that are going to change a lot. People like her have no clue. Democrats in general don't have a clue how to work economics. I've never heard one that understands economics. And you hear all her sentiment here was all about the residents. All the residents can see these properties. Residents can see all these industrial warehouses. Why do we need so many industrial warehouses? Why can't? And she also said in this video, this could have been several neighborhoods. Well, what do you do when you put all those neighborhoods in, and if with her as trustee, and she had a 1/3 vote on this development? What if that entire property with all those warehouses was residential? Now you've got 4 people in each home on that property drawing from public services, not contributing a whole lot. You got your property taxes, and a lot of that's going to public schools. But who's paying for all the infrastructure? These businesses are paying for a lot of the stuff everybody enjoys, especially Democrats when they want to spend money, when they want tax revenue to be a certain place. So if you don't have a good mix of business, you got nothing. And she says, well, sure, I understand, but people can see these businesses from their houses. This could have been residential property. And then you had the problem you have in Liberty Township, which is why they have to develop the Milliken Exchange off I-75 in order to get commercial property to help offset all the cost of the taxes that are needed if you want to maintain that level of government. So when you don't have a good balance between residential and business, you get out of control burden taxes with everybody drawing from the system, but nobody contributing. Mark Welsh understood that, and people like this message of her, like, well, we've been prosperous for a long time. We've got a good thing going. Why not try this Democrat out? She sounds like me. She's concerned about kids. She's concerned about bike paths. She's concerned about building too many businesses. So, well, let's give her a chance. And they didn't think about what the ramifications of that chance were. Well, now you got her. Now she's out there. This is what she is. This is what you get when you get overt Democrat in a trustee position. And she's going to find out real fast that the ideological mom sitting around at Starbucks while the kids are in school, having a latte, talking about, oh boy, wouldn't it be great if we did this? Oh, we need more bike paths. Oh, we need more berms on the side of the road so people can ride their bicycles and not get hit by a car. Oh, we have to have more enforcement of cars driving fast because we got to save our kids. Oh, we got to have more helmets so we can put our kids while we go to get the mail and our kids follow us out close to the road and we make them stand 20 feet from the edge of the road with a bicycle helmet and elbow pads and knee pads. That's the kind of people that are out of control. When they don't have husbands to bounce things off of or men to tell them, hey, calm down, it'll be okay. You're not going to get hit by a comet every time you go outside and try to cook something on the grill because you're an overly emotional young mom trying to protect your children. You got to walk them off the edge when they're like that. But now she took that and she got elected because she appealed to people who are going through that same phase. And there were enough people who thought, well, she's a moderate. We've had success for a while. Well, we've had Mark Welsh, and let's try something new. Well, that's the new you get. That's what you get when you get new. And she's out there complaining about all this commercial real estate that's been developed that's going to pay an enormous amount of tax for services that Democrats want. I don't want them. I'd be happy to have a cornfield, no tax burden, and a government that consisted of maybe 1 or 2 police officers. That'd be my idea of government. But you want all this stuff, you want social services to the degree they do, who's going to pay for it? All those residents? They're not going to pay for it. You got to have stuff like that. And she's out there complaining. And that's the person who's the new trustee in West Chester. So I'm just now getting to know her, and I'm shocked by the things she said. Again, I don't think these videos switched the election. She just went out. She appeared reasonable. She appeared to be like most of a percentage of the population out there. It's raising kids, and they're fighting through the desire to protect those children from all the dangers of life. That's a balancing act everyone has to deal with. But when you put them in public office and make them have votes on things like this, yeah, there's going to be a cost to that. And that's exactly what she turned out to be. And they might have hid that she was a Democrat. Well, they didn't come out and put it in lights. They didn't put out the endorsements that came in. They didn't announce it everywhere. They just let people calm down. You're in a Republican area. Keep that on the back burner. And if anybody wants to know, they can look it up and find it. And a lot of people showed up to vote, and they thought, well, we've had Mark for over a decade, and it's been pretty good. We feel like maybe it's good, but let's give this new lady a chance. He sounds reasonable. That's the danger of Democrats. They come out sounding like somebody that's well-intended, and once you sit them behind a chair and make them make decisions, they have no idea how the economy works, and they have no idea how to balance money like that and how to work this kind of balance out. Because he's out there complaining about this great industrial implant. There are places all over the United States that would love to have the problems that West Chester has. This is a great problem to have. And people can vote or not vote, and they vote with the people they put in as trustees. And they voted not to support Mark Welsh, they voted for her. And I don't know that they knew what they were voting for. And they're going to find out real fast because she's an anti-industrialist, she's an anti-capitalist, she's an all those CEOs are so greedy. All those people who run all these companies that we all work at are so terrible. The typical Democrat idea, the people need to rule. And it's people like her who are putting bicycle helmets on their kids while they go to the mailbox. Or just to ride a bicycle around down a sidewalk. Oh, you might get hurt. Be careful. Oh, we got to bring that same mentality to all of society. And we need more houses. We need more residents who can't see the tops of the warehouse buildings that are paying all the taxes. Oh, by the way, we want to fund endless amounts of taxes. These are socialists, Marxists, communists. They don't call themselves that, but that's their ideology. And they hate anybody who produces anything that makes any kind of money, but yet they want to spend money on everything. And they're complete lunatics. Complete lunatics. And now you have one in West Chester running, has a third vote as a trustee. So, good luck. I want to say I warn you, but with her case, I thought she was so ridiculous. All of them were ridiculous because I knew they were all Democrats. and I didn't think they had much of a chance. But they were moderate enough to get squeak by. People were willing to give them a chance. And now you see what you're going to get. And so we'll cover it, and we'll cover her votes, and we'll cover the trajectory of West Chester's positive growth, what led to this wonderful development, and what happens after 4 years of having her in that seat. And everybody will learn some hard lessons. Guarantee you that. Because now that I've seen a little bit about her and heard her talk, wow, people are going to get burnt in a way they did not foresee. And it's going to be interesting to cover. I'd like to say, I think sometimes people need to learn hard lessons, and you need to see the ramifications of bad decisions. And I think she's going to make it early and often that we're going to talk about bad decisions and how a person, just one Democrat, can change the trajectory of a successful community. And it's going to be very obvious in West Chester, because for many years, West Chester has been one of the best places to live in the United States. And now someone like her is going to have to grab that baton, and we'll see how she runs the track. And I can pretty much guarantee I know where it's going to go. And it's not what people voted for. Anyway, it's Rich Hoffman here. Share, subscribe, make tomorrow a better day. If you haven't read my book, The Gunfighter's Guide to Business, I think you'll love it. And I think you'll also love the coverage that will be done on watching all these follies from all these bumper cars that have hidden Marxism behind Democrat policies that are going to be implemented into a very successful community, and people are not going to like the result. And we're going to have a lot of fun covering it. Anyway, have a good day, and see you later.